Okie
Hello,
dokie,
everyone.
everybody. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Chuck.
No, you're fine. Welcome, everyone, to our next seeding match in round two, our last one of round two for the Spider Man Hey Race Tournament. Today, we
Yep.
are going to see a matchup of Niloquy, shortened to Nilo, versus Mr. Monch, shortened to Monch. And we are in for an exciting race to wrap up
We
this
really
round
are.
two. Let's take a look at
This
these
seed has
stats.
been, yeah. Both are running emulator, so that's a bit different compared to the past. Pretty similar race times. Monch technically having a slightly better time though, but the thing is, he's got 5 categories under his belt. He may not have any world records, but the fact that he's got 5 categories under his belt means he's practiced a wide variety of situations, played in a variety of different ways, which true, focusing on one thing can sometimes be the best way to improve, but the skills you can earn from other types of runs will often help you out. So we'll just have to see how it goes. The specialist versus the variety guy is how this one's going to turn out.
Absolutely. You can't discount the benefits of running
Mhm.
different categories to help familiarize yourself with a game you're already playing so much. Now, one category I kind of wish to see because these two uh, are pretty prolific for this, but just the sort of background contributions that they make to this community. I'd love to
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
I want to see a category of skips that Nilo has found, and also a special mention to Mr. Monch for uh, the incredible auto splitter that he's created for this
Yeah.
game that makes it so much more convenient to run and record. Now, obviously, we can't use it for this particular tournament because we're going off of just straight time instead of splitting
Mhm.
with each level, but it still can't be overstated how much both of these runners have contributed to the community, even if they aren't the top runners right now.
It's a classic example of I remember when I was in the FGC feeling bad that I wasn't doing as much with how good I was playing, but I had some friends like a player named Professor High Pick who told me like, look, Felicia, sometimes the best thing you do isn't to have be the overall best, but to bring something special to the community, whether it be hosting, providing tools, giving advice, or just welcoming new people in with open arms. That could be just as essential of a attribute to have as being the best for a community.
Absolutely. And to bring just a little bit of focus here, I want to talk a little bit about the favorite levels here. Waterfront Warehouse being a favorite level for Nilo, even as it's been an
Mm.
absolute bane for a lot of these runners. I have to wonder
Yes.
I have to wonder what it is about Waterfront that makes this so appealing to Nilo. I think that's going to be a nice interview question for later. And then
Mhm.
a an understated uh favorite from Monch, Stop the Bomb. I don't think I see this on any other favorite levels uh from any of the other runners, but I can understand that nice flow of skipping past the hostages you're supposed to save, zipping through doors you're supposed to open, and finally tossing a bomb into a bank that doesn't technically shut. There is something satisfying about that, so I can kind of feel for Monch's favorite.
Or even in the no skips category, that challenge of finding that perfect path to save the hostages, getting in, getting out, getting the bomb. And I think
Hmm.
Waterfront Warehouse is kind of the same way. I feel like these are both levels that the skips are dope, but when you can't use the skips for whatever reason, when you've still got good movement tech, it's still pretty dope. I, and especially seeing how launches run multiple categories, maybe that's why Stop the Bomb's his favorite.
That very well could be. Well, let's go ahead and take it to the highlights from these two runners, seeing what we have from the previous races they've run. And we have a special guest to join us with these highlights. We have Spyron.
That's
Uh,
right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's me. Thank you for the introduction. Yes, highlights. Hello, I've been putting these together today, so I'm going to commentate over these. Good bombs. We were talking about Nyla liking, it was Monchu like to stop the bomb, but that was a good bomb from Nilo. So something to keep an eye on. Good bomb times. We like those. Speedy Jonah. Nilo, unfortunate with getting the Speedy Jonah running through there, not a one-cycle Scorpion, so something I'm sure he's actively looking to avoid in this next run against Monch. He did hit the Flying Spider, though, so that's something only a few people have done so far this tournament, so he can be happy with that, and I'm sure he'll be using that to his advantage this time as well. Now, Rhino's been a tricky one for, I think, some people, myself included, in that last run against Fetty. You'll remember, I'm sure. Combos don't seem to be the way to go, apart from when Sotalia does it, and then it's fine. But combos potentially a no-go this time. Maybe just straight to web domes. We'll see if Nilo mixes this strategy up a little bit. Now, these pipes, I've dubbed these the demigod pipes because we have god pipes. I feel like the pipes where you land on the last pipe and then just swing up need a name, so I've dubbed them the demigod pipes, and that's what Nilo did get last time. I'm sure looking to improve those this time around. I can never watch this. This makes me too nervous. Why does he do that, and how does he do that every time? It scares me. But Nilo,
that's the skip that he found, and it works out so well.
Yeah,
speaking of great
crazy
tricks.
Yeah, and this is another example. Yeah,
spider.
Yeah, the flying spider.
Yeah,
it's so incredible.
One.
And
yet,
unfortunate to not hit it, but this time maybe.
Absolutely. And
yeah,
we
Fingers
get
crossed.
great spawns from Venom in Nilo's last run. Just back to back, right there, right in front of him. That's exactly what you want to see with a Venom fight, and that is what put him ahead of Felicia in this particular race.
Yeah, at this point especially, was the tipping point for a slight moment there, with Nilo's perfect Venoms. You gotta love it. But the unfortunate thing that came next was, very sadly, the bugle struggles that he had. Now, opting to go for a slightly different skip than you'll see most people do, where you go to the corner just behind you as opposed to the corner with the filing cabinet in the opposite end of the room. You can do this if you manage to, you can see, kind of walk up the wall there. It actually does phase you through the wall to allow you to do the zip through the wall, and it still despawns the level the same way, which he did successfully after a short amount of time. But the unfortunate part then further was he didn't quite hit the trigger. So something I'm sure he'll be looking to avoid again this run. Now, Swag Strat. Swag Strat is something that Nilo, as a PC runner, I'm sure is quite familiar with and tried to go for there, but it unfortunately was not successful. So maybe he'll stick to the regular strat now. Maybe he'll try Swag Strat again. It is possible on PlayStation, so we'll see. And then an unfortunate one-cycle Dr. Octopus was not hit, but this has to be, I think, the cleanest carnage of the tournament so far. Literally does not even have to move, and he's straight in there. So lots of good things from Nilo and lots of things to watch out for. On to Mr. Monch, and using an out-of-bounds strat that you won't see many people use. It's the hostage roof out-of-bounds, where you spam R1 there to try and get yourself almost immediately out of bounds without having to mess around jumping through that wall. So we'll see. I think he tends to prefer that over the regular route. So we'll see if he does that again. Now, bombs, for some people, aren't as fun. And with Mr. Monch actually saying this is his favourite level, it was unfortunate that he got a fat bomb and it did not want to fit through the metal detector. It was not having a good time. He got there eventually, but having to carry it through is not the fastest way to do it, unfortunately. So hoping for a slender bomb, I'm sure, this time around. Now, this is a route you won't see very often. This is a route that some people do take, but won't often be seen just because it is slightly slower than swinging around the buildings, as you will have seen everyone else do. But not too bad a route, and you do pick up, I believe, a web cartridge or two on that roof as well, which isn't too bad. Now, this is unfortunate. I don't know why it decided to swing him out to the right here. Bit dangerous. Not the best time for a Spider-Man to disobey the regular setup for that one, so we'll hopefully see maybe an improvement this time. I don't know if it decides to work a bit better. We'll see. The Fetty switches. Now, this is a classic you'll see on Fetty's runs every time. Mr. Monch opting for those, and then opting to take a swim. Unfortunately, did not find the zip up to the roof there. That is a shame, but Bugle, we saw Nilo hit the Bugle eventually. Mr. Monch opting to not go for that at all in his last run and just went for the no skips route. We'll see if he does that again, but a route he did take was the Bugle basement skips, which he did perfectly, but for some strange reason, this wall just didn't explode, and I've never seen that before, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, very, very strange. Mr. Monch also close to a one cycle, similar to Nilo. So again, it could come down to the one cycle between them both. Was very close, but not quite there.
Uh,
We'll see if it pays off this time. And that's the highlights, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic, Spyron. Go ahead and get back in the tech booth. We'll take it from here.
Thank you very much. Back to my corner.
All right, and with the highlights
all right,
out of the way,
Spyron's gonna get the beer.
yeah, go.
I'm sorry. I
Let's
couldn't
get a
help
nice
myself.
brewski in, and
Yes.
hopefully that won't interfere with the tech. But we are just about ready to begin. Let's see our two runners here, Nilo and Monch, readying up at their screens. We're gonna go ahead and get them to their proper starting positions. And it looks like Monch, with the poor timing there, gets stuck straight in the demo.
Well, he can exit out of it. I think he's just waiting for them to say something. Yep. Nilo
Sure.
heard something. I think he's just saying something to Munch.
Looks like they're both muted, so I don't believe they're going to be saying anything too specific. But it looks like they are lining up now.
Yep.
And we're
Yep.
about ready
They're
to begin.
getting ready.
Let's see it.
All right. Okie dokie. In 3, 2, 1.
And they're off. Let's see it. A little bit of delay in the Discord notifications for some gets us off to a slightly uneven start, but luckily our runs are going to be determined strictly by the times that they have. We saw a bit of that with Jesse and forgive me, I'm forgetting the other.
I think that happened on my race as well.
That's very possible. Now, let's see. Nilo going with the safe and straight strat, while Monch is going for the slightly riskier route to get through the first level. But it looks very clean.
But they were about even getting through still. But that's still pretty cool. That makes Monch only like what, the third or fourth person to have actually done that way of doing the first level in the race, that is?
Absolutely, because it can be a very risky way to start. You won't believe how many runs just die right there because they just fall out of the sky for no great reason whatsoever. But we are going to move on to a clean execution by Nilo. Moving on to the next level and doing a little hop over the window. I've seen that once or twice, but that's a fun little hop. Give yourself a little more momentum into the hostage situation. Nilo coming in. Monch. Is Monch going to do his ceiling strats? No, he cannot. He's going to have to try to jump through the wall if he can. But Nilo moving on with that first hostage.
Oh, he's restarting.
Oh, no. Monch having to restart the level. I wonder if it was just with bad luck trying to get through the ceiling.
I've noticed on emulator and on faster PS2s, because I remember at one point I had a PS2 Slim, and that trick I could only get like 1 out of every 3 runs that got there. You can imagine how frustrating that was. So Nilo's going to be pulling quite a bit ahead at this point.
Right.
Oh gosh, he's still stuck.
Monch is really struggling here. We'll just have to give him some time to get through. But for now, Nilo running into the second half of the stop the bomb level. Missing
well, that's a good spot to shoot from.
Indeed. Very far away. I have to wonder why you would want to shoot from so far away instead of just getting right in there against the bad guys. But Nilo getting a good first toss in. Let's see. A good second toss. And a clean jump through the doorway. And third toss, and that's the level. And it looks like Monch has managed to clear through.
Did he? Oh, good. I thought for a second he didn't spawn in the hostages. I was kind of worried for a second.
I noticed that as well. That was pretty close. But Monch is clean and clear to get through to stop the bomb. Meanwhile, Nilo getting ready to head towards the bugle. Now, let's see.
Have we not said anything about the fact that Nilo is classic Spider-Man and Monch is Ben Reilly? So it's Peter Parker versus Ben Reilly. Who is the superior Spider-Man?
And with the amount of tech that these two have really introduced into our community, it really does feel like a battle of clones almost.
It kind of does.
As far as their helpfulness to the community. Now let's see Nilo getting a nice move over. We're going to see a little bit of technical swinging. Oh, and he hits the building. Which is just going to slow him down ever so slightly. Absolutely.
Oh
Monch with the
shoot!
bomb.
Oh, uh-oh. Now we're having some trouble, but that's good for Munch.
Just a little bit of
Okay.
struggling from both sides. But
Yeah.
Monch has put the bomb in the safe with a fairly respectable minute 35 left on the timer and is ready to move on to the bugle. These two are just one level away from each other, technically. Now let's see if Nilo can get a kind Jameson. Otherwise, this might be Monch's opportunity to catch up.
Yeah. Because if the Jameson cutscene can often take. Yeah.
Ooh, yep, we see
Ooh,
it now.
that was unusually fast for Jameson, actually.
I really do
I-
believe it depends on Scorpion's position and against which door he's on. That can really
Yeah, yeah.
determine how fast Jonah goes for that door. I also
It
believe it
really
has something to
does.
do with Scorpion's overall health, but
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
that's
I
just
believe.
superstition.
No, no, no. I realized that when Scorpion's at half health, that's when Jameson starts to move. Like when I get him to half health in a run, I always keep my eye on like, okay, Jameson's about to move.
All
So
right,
you're not superstitious.
All right, Monch, having a slightly worrisome get to the bugle, swinging a little bit low there, almost missing some of those zips up, but manages to get to Scorpion. Nilo having a good run away from the police,
And we're not
and
talking Sting, Summers, and Stewart. Sorry,
this,
I had to say that. We were just talking about the police off just before we started, so I had to throw that joke in there. Mostly for Spider-Man because he's British.
absolutely looks like Monch got a fairly clean Scorpion. I didn't quite catch it, but I believe he was able to get a quick Scorpion through.
Mhm.
Helping to close that gap with Nilo, who is now on our little auto scroller almost.
Yep.
Our first sort of auto scroller for Spider-Man. And it looks like we have some clean execution. Now I wonder.
Just hopefully he doesn't hit the death corner. Good.
Indeed.
That
Indeed.
what
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, was it Monch or was it Nilo that found the death? Or no, or who was it that found that death corner recently? And everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, dude."
Uh, I mean, I hit one recently, and then Fetty hit one just today or yesterday that got
Yeah,
highlighted.
yeah.
But back to the action at hand. Looks like Monch is now to our little auto scroller here. Getting through just fine. Lots of clean movements. This is a fairly simple level and one that I think a lot of runners could just do without because it's a fairly simple level. But Nilo is past it, blazing through,
Hmm.
getting ready to head
He's not
to.
zipping though, so that could slow him down a bit and allow Monch to catch up. Because you could do some zips to that billboard and then to the next building to save yourself a bit of time.
Absolutely, and you need every second that you can muster when it comes to a race, but it sometimes comes at a risk. Luckily,
Yep.
Nilo seems to be fairly clean with even with the lack of zips going into scaled girders. Now I wonder if Nilo
Uh,
is gonna get in a floating spider.
we shall see. Are we gonna get the spider fly? As Monch is struggling a little bit. He has to climb up a little bit. Okay,
A little bit low. All right, Nilo
moment of
with a
truth.
spider float. No, that is a
Oh!
failed spider float, and it looks like he's going for the backup strat, just zipping
Yep.
straight up to the top of the crane. That's
How
might
tall
give
is this
Monch a bit
thing?
more. Yeah, how tall is that thing? I wonder if anyone's ever done a sort of calculation of how tall these skyscrapers actually are. Monch
That would
taking
be
the
a.
safe route
Mhm.
and collecting a couple of cartridges, getting him to scale the girders and closing this gap ever so slightly.
He's getting close. We'll have to see. I don't think he's gonna attempt spider fly, but we shall see. But it could be he might save himself some time by not go. Yeah, he's not going for it, but maybe not going for it and failing, but doing the skip the normal way might save him a few seconds in the end. Because
Absolutely.
that's always the challenge. Is like, do I go for the super strat, or because you could do the super strat and save a lot of time. Oh, nice shot. Or or do you go for the safe trap where you're guaranteed, but you might not get as much time save? Really is a balancing act.
right? And sometimes it does pay to go for those more comfortable strats because you know you can hit them, and you're not wasting time failing those strats. Nilo going
Mhm.
in on Rhino. Now let's see how he takes Rhino out. Looks like we're
He's
gonna
going for the
go for some
combo.
combos. Yes, indeed. It's looking fairly smooth so far.
Oh boy. He must have gotten buffalo combos because the combos are
Oh,
spicy. Never mind.
yep.
Uh,
Commentator's curse. We shouldn't have gassed him up too
oh.
much. That's a common
Jumping
mistake we
Jack
make with Fetty. We
Flash.
can't gas him up too much.
Oh
Oh,
shoot, that wasn't.
webbing is not going to stop Rhino, but a couple of web domes will, and that puts Nilo up to catch Venom. And Monch about to go into the same boss fight. Let's see if Monch can handle this a little bit smoother.
If he can, that'll be real help. But of course, here's the big question. Is Nilo going to get the double venom and potentially fail it, or will he be able to do this okay? Because that could also be a chance for Monch to catch up. And Monch needs a chance to catch up because he got stuck. You didn't see that he got punched, but looks like he's had a smooth combo now. With Rhino, you get that timing just right. You've got to hold on to that timing for dear life.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Luckily, we get some web domes in. That takes down Rhino pretty handily. Nilo, not blazing through, but that's okay because, again, if you go too fast, you could be stuck with a double Venom soft locking you in this level and forcing you to restart.
We really need a task done of that level. Like, that level is one of the levels I'd like to see a task of the most. Figure out that perfect timing for task we can go without causing the glitch.
I agree that a nice task for this entire game would be nice. Particularly if we're going to talk specifically about this level, I'd love to see one that shows the exact right height to be where you can maintain your height through the last half of this level. That is
Yeah,
something that I in
yeah.
particular struggle with. But
Me too.
and
Would
we're
love
gonna
to see that.
see and we're gonna see if Nilo can maintain that height as we would expect the task to do. Monch getting a fairly clean first half through, getting to coast a little bit on the cutscene. All right, Nilo.
Take a moment to stretch and drink some water.
Mm-hmm. And Nilo losing a bit of height, but maintaining what height he did have and getting to a nice point at the end of the level, clearly beating Venom to the end. But again, not too quickly. Otherwise, you might soft lock the level there as well.
By the way, I have to point out, I once checked if there's anything on the other side of that billboard. No, it's blank. They could have done something funny, like the billboard gets smashed by Venom. Make it for something like smash sandwiches or something. Oh well.
So Nilo onto the Venom fight. Venom 1 here. Getting a couple close spawns, which might be helpful. Monch, losing a bit of height. Might lose some time to crawling. And Nilo gets a very clean first Venom. Grabs that web cartridge,
yeah.
is ready to move on.
I wonder if it's faster to aim. Like if you get stuck on that lower point, I wonder if it would be faster to try to aim to get some more height. Might be something worth experimenting with.
I personally don't believe so, but I think that's something that would need to be proven for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Monch taking care of his first Venom. Getting a few slow spawns in, that's unfortunate. And a bit of a far spawn too. Hopefully, Monch can find a way to make up this time.
Yeah. He's going to really need it. Also, has anybody realized how funny it is to talk about spawns with Venom? Because, like, every time, for a brief second, I was like, wait, wrong character. Oh. Because both were created by Todd McFarlane, or co-created by Todd McFarlane.
Yes, they were. I will admit that Todd McFarlane is one of my favorite artists for Spider-Man.
He is such a cool dude.
And the design of Venom is iconic. Although I will say for this particular game, this is one of my favorite interpretations of Venom. All right, now we're gonna move on. Nilo getting ready to set up God Pipes.
God Pipes. Put in your God Pipes emotes if you subscribe to Fetty. Here we go. Oh, Monster Spell. Uh-oh, he's in trouble. Okay, not quite
Nilo
god
getting
pipes.
let's see.
Not even
Spyron,
demigod pipes.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna say that is, man, what's below demigod? But either way,
Uh,
Nilo has a rougher time with those pipes. Maybe Monch can make up the time there.
we'll have to see. I mean, he's had to redo the first levels, or the first sewer level.
That
And
is,
Nilo gets to cruise. And since he's on a webcam, we don't know if he's seeing how he's got a Rubik's Cube on his profile picture here. It would be funny if he got the strat where he doesn't have to do anything, and then he was actually just solving a Rubik's Cube off camera. Because I think he just got it. Nope, he didn't get it.
no, that's a rough time, and I think Nilo is gonna fail the phasing
Also,
through the friends.
why is he standing on the parts that we know we can clip through? That's
Well, the fun part was, I think, between what we
Oh,
saw
he's
with
good.
Jesse and myself, uh, the link right between the train car and the connector is not where you phase through. There's a weird
Oh.
space in the middle of the cart itself. At least that's where I fell through at that point. Monch getting a stronger pipes. I'm going to say demigod pipes in this case. Giving him
That's what Spyran calls it.
that's right. Giving him a slight advantage on that one, and hopefully catching up a little bit to Nilo, who has not quite reached halfway through this subway level.
This level is just you can only lose time on this level. It's really what, especially if you know the super train trick. You're at a set time, which is just further proof that auto scrollers suck in the context of a speed run. So this is a good
Yeah.
moment too if you can do what Nilo does to just get some water, stretch, pull out a comic book, grab your cat, make a sandwich, have a cup of tea, something.
Absolutely. And you know what? This is everyone's reminder for a quick hydration break. Make sure you are staying hydrated. Water is the best way to do it. And if you can't do water, I mean, I guess a Red Bull will do.
I'm waiting. I can't wait for the day that we get to a game done quick with this game, and we just think of like, I know people probably just read donations when we get to this level, but like I'm sure we could ask the runner to do something funny on stage so they could pull off the perfect strat.
No, that would be fun. I think this would be a great break for donations, and the Monster Rock would be a great break. Nilo getting the Super Subway, I believe it's called.
Yep.
And moving on to the next level. That's great timing on Nilo's part. Let's see how well he can tackle this one.
This skip has been both super easy and super annoying this whole race. Some people get it, and then some people just struggle. It can be hard to line up, especially if the lizards decide to spit in your face, which it looks like they are. But
Nilo not quite getting that zip. Now, as we've learned from previous runners, there is a way to make sure that the lizards don't mess with you while you're trying to line up your shot, if need be. And that is by hanging out on the ceiling.
Oh, that's good to know. Well, that's right. I had to miss the last couple of runs due to work, so I didn't hear that. Thank you for the information.
Absolutely. And I encourage you, as well as encourage the rest of our audience, to check out Spider Runs, the VODs, for a lot of great races. And it looks like Nilo gets his own particular skip straight through the backside.
That was beautiful. Yeah. But now, all right, everybody. Fingers crossed, toes crossed, crisscross applesauce for Nilo here. Yeah, say your prayers, make a spirit bomb. I don't know what other good luck things to do. Oh, he is.
Nilo getting a short zip, but that doesn't mean he's out yet. A couple of good zips on this last one, but he might need to just bite the bullet and just try to regularly crawl. And I think he's got it. I think it's safe.
Oh, just barely.
And it looks like
I
Monch
thought he was
having a
gonna.
little bit of trouble zipping through the gate, having to take out those lizards. And
He's
Nilo
also
setting
so
up
far
his
away,
spider
he'll start
float.
swinging instead of zipping.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's the other. Yep, there we go.
And
Usually
we...
about 1 to 2 panels away is where you want to be.
Oh,
Did he
and it
get it?
looks like he got it this time.
Oh,
Redeemed on that spider
yeah.
float. That
That is good stuff.
That is a deceptively hard trick to pull. I wager that Scale the Girder's spider float is a bit easier than that particular spider float. Oh, and
Oh,
Nilo
he's
is going for a Fetty Fall, and he
shoot.
just misses it. He
He
almost quit it
almost
out. That
quit.
would have
That
been
would have been.
really funny. But
That would have been.
let's see if he's going
Okay.
to try again. Monch going into his own tunnel crawl.
All right. Once
Let's
again,
see.
fingers
Ooh.
crossed, toast crossed, crisscross applesauce. I guess just do the things. Do the things you did to help make sure you would get a snow day as a kid, which was like what? Sleep with a spoon under your pillow and flush an ice cube down the toilet. I don't know. That's what I was taught to do as a kid. So I guess do that to hope that he gets a tunnel crawl skip.
I have no idea what you're talking about. That is the ramblings of a madman if I've ever heard it. But
What have you ever? Did you ever like really hope for a snow day when you were a kid, and then people said to do this and this and that to hope you would get a snow day in school?
absolutely not. But
Really?
from there, Monch had a pretty solid tunnel crawl.
Mm,
Let's see.
yeah.
Looks like he's going for the no skip skips strat. And does so fairly cleanly. Nilo onto the lizard's maze, getting a few
Trying to find the
nice
right spots
zips
to
in.
zip.
Indeed, is able to
Ooh.
push through before the crushers came in.
Yeah.
And
But now here comes the fun part. That
In-
skip, yo.
indeed, we are ready for another fun skip. Let's see if Nilo can get this one. This
Who
can be a
discovered
bit
this skip
finicky.
anyways?
Who did discover the skip? I actually don't know.
I don't either, but like the thing that I think is most fun about, I don't know what's more fun about skips, pulling them off or wondering just what someone was thinking when they discovered it. Because I've heard of skips being discovered by accident. I've heard of people literally bonking their heads against the wall for hours on end just to find something.
Absolutely.
And speaking of bonking your head against something, this could be the big turning point right here. Mr. Venom 2. Everybody's favorite level, I say with massive amounts of sarcasm and coffee.
Now let's see if we get. Well, looks like we
Oh.
didn't get quite a kind spawn on this.
Nope.
Venom not quite out yet,
Ooh, there we go.
and that's a good spawn. Monch going in with his lizard's maze, doing a good job so far. Got some nice zips in.
He's about to do the trick himself. Oh, wow, that was a pretty nice. Not the fastest Venom we've seen, but that was a pretty good one regardless.
Indeed. The hard thing about casting for this game is most certainly that there can be a lot going on at once, so it's hard to get any particular site down pat. But it looks like we got one successful skip from Monch in the Lizard's Maze, and we got a successful skip from Nilo. Now Nilo just has to nail the exit, and he does.
Yep. That's an easy one to mess up if you're not careful.
Absolutely.
I say somebody who messed that up this morning.
And especially as we get into elevator descent, another deceptively difficult strat, yet handled masterfully by Nilo.
Mm-hmm.
Monch going in with his Venom fight. A good first spawn, it looks like.
Gonna get 2 more.
That's a quick spawn over on the opposite edge.
Oh. He's gonna run at him, I guess. Oh, nice trick there, letting him do a jump to get over.
Absolutely, that is how I deal with Venom most times. But Venom is out. Let's see what Monch can do as far as symbiotes infest the bugle. Nilo on stop the presses, hitting that load trigger and moving on to the next level. These two are, while they may struggle in some areas, they are putting a great display on for how great this game is to speedrun.
Oh, yes.
Monch using.
Oh, looks like
Mhm.
Nyla has to go for the slow strat. I'm surprised he's not
Indeed.
trying it again.
Wait a
Wait,
minute.
why is he? What's he
I
doing?
think I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to do a
Wait,
backup.
oh,
I think I've seen
He-
this,
I think he's
but I
about to do
think
the all comic skips, or what? No,
the
what is he?
he's trying to knock out the symbiotes that might get in his way, and now he's ready to try this backup. The setup taking a while, giving Monch a little bit of leeway to catch up, but that is an incredible zip.
Ooh,
We are out of bounds, and there we are. That is the first
That-
time I think we've seen this particular strat in this tournament, and it is fantastic to see that live versus just
Mhm.
seeing it in our Strat Talk Discord channel.
Or in 100 or in all comics runs, which I don't think anybody's submitted an all comics run lately, have they?
Uh, it's not very often that that comes through. I don't think that that strat has been used in an all comics run yet. It was rather put forward as a theoretical
Wait,
backup.
did Nilo not realize? Oh, he realized, but I think he might. Oh, oh, shoot! He got hit by the rolling doom thingy. He's gonna have to try to do that again. Also, I am terrible at naming things, guys. I am sorry.
It's all right. You know what? It's kind of entertaining to have the little thingies of doom as well. Nilo with a fairly quick Mysterio, aside from, well, he would have had a quick Mysterio, but he took a pylon to the knee. However, Monch moving forward, and it a little too slow for that zip. Looks like Monch is going to have to move forward with the
Fetty has
no
that
skip
comic, by the
strat.
way.
Oh yeah, that is very important to mention. Fetty does indeed have that comment. Speaking of that comic, this is where we get our first waterfront warehouse skip. First try. No, let's not count it out just yet. He gets it.
Oh my god!
That is an alternative way to do it, and he got it this time where he missed it last time, rocketing him into the underwater trench. Fantastic stuff. Monch getting ready to gear up for the Mysterio fight.
He did try to do cutscene skip. Didn't quite get it. But if he can do a faster Mysterio, that might help a bit. But there's even more of a space between these two now than I think there's been at any other point in the race. At least it feels that way.
Indeed, Monch is going to need to find a way to make up a lot of time, especially since Nilo managed to nail that waterfront warehouse skip on the first try. At this point, Monch might have to try to count on Nilo messing up something with the next few levels, whether it be accidentally falling down, whether he gets a bad Carnage, a bad Doc Ock. It's hard to say, but it is possible. So don't count Monch out just yet.
Nope. I mean, if we count him out, he might grab that paddle and go after us. Judging by his profile picture.
That's
seriously,
right.
how has nobody said anything about that before yet? But I've also never watched The Simpsons.
If you do mention it, that's a paddling. That's why. So
well, I'm screwed.
Monch.
Fetty has that comic.
Yes, Fetty does have that comic. Monch getting into the waterfront warehouse. Let's keep a close eye on that one. Let's see if Monch can get through. Well, he's gonna try.
He's doing manual aim. Seems to work in his favor. He just has to get over without falling over. Make sure he's not too far over to the left, which is an easy mistake to make. I made that mistake recently myself.
Oh, and Monch gets it. Fantastic. That is a good way to maintain the pace between these two runners. Now Monch has to make up some time, getting a little turned around at the beginning of Underwater Trench, but is now on his way. Nilo wrapping up that cutscene and stopping the fog, getting ready for the Doc Ock boss fight. I wonder if Nilo can hit that one cycle Ock. That has been a fairly elusive trick in these seeding rounds so far. I believe we've only had one runner manage it in the past. One or two runners at least. But let's keep an eye on Nilo and see how well he can do. Getting that first pylon down. Getting the shield through. Getting great dodges through. Now, this was something I hadn't realized until I watched some of the VODs, but timing is critical for when you hit that last pylon. If you disable that, or if you hit the switch on that pylon while Dr. Octopus is in attack position, it's very possible that you can absolutely whiff the one cycle lock. Oh, Nilo got a good setup. 1, 2. Oh, and there's a little bit of a pause.
not
Nope.
quite.
There was a little bit of a pause on his second combo, giving Ock just the time he needed to initiate the second phase. Perhaps Monch can pick up the slack there, because if I understand correctly, that is a solid 40-second time loss if you miss that one cycle Ock.
Yeah, that is. That's like the holy grail is to get a killer run with a one cycle Ock. Basically, the only way probably the only way you can get a world record at this point is with a one cycle. Because it's just that essential of a trick, that much of a time save.
Absolutely.
I also wish that we could skip that cutscene at the end of stopping the fog. I remember somebody found a way to get out of bounds in the level, but you couldn't enter the trigger, so it was pointless. Which sucks, because that cutscene adds like, gosh, 15, 20 seconds? It'd be so nice if you could skip it.
I think it adds a little bit more than that, but it would be nice to find a skip for that. But Nilo, heading into Carnage, let's see how clean we can get this Carnage. No web buffering, no web stunning, but he doesn't line up the attack quite well, and he needs to hurry up.
Something.
He needs to hurry up, and he looks like he's locked Carnage in.
Yep.
Absolutely, absolutely solid backup. That just shows the great improvisation of our runners to work on the fly and get the best time that they can. Monch going in with his Dr. Octopus. That's 3 switches down out of 4. Let's see if he can get that one cycle lock.
He's really going to need it if he wants any chance, because Nilo's about to enter Monster Rock. Let's see. Oh,
all right.
Oh, that's 2. That's
that is a shame. It was very close on that one. Both of them had very close one cycle locks last time and this time. Now with Nilo wrapping things up with the Monster Rock, having very solid movement going through. Monch handling the second phase of the Doc Ock fight. It's just, it's crazy how just one mistake, one level reset can mean the difference between victory and defeat.
It really is.
I'm sure Monch is feeling that a bit right now. But despite the mishaps, still putting on a very solid performance, only 2 levels behind in a race, in a speed run that normally goes only for about half an hour to 40 minutes at most.
Yeah, this is a relatively short game, so if any of you viewers don't speedrun this game and you're looking for something fun, high energy, with a little bit of ridiculousness to it, this is a good game to pick up. And it's available on a lot of platforms: PlayStation, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, PC, and then there's emulation as well. You got options. You can also run the Game Boy Color version if you're a weirdo. We're all weirdos here.
I wouldn't discount the Game Boy Color version. I have a soft spot for that version, even though I haven't played it in forever. But getting back to the action, Monch wrapping up his Carnage. He had a really nice setup for Carnage as well, getting it a little bit quicker than Nilo. Unfortunately, I don't believe that that's going to be what it takes to catch back up. But even so, really, really wonderful running by these 2 runners. It really does come down to some unfortunate mistakes and bad luck.
That was almost Commentator's Curse right there. Oh my gosh.
I found that if Doc Ock gets ahead of you, even for a little bit, it's not so bad. And that's Nilo, done with his run.
And a 33-20.
Let's check the leaderboard and see where that puts him versus his usual runs. Hmm,
Yeah.
looks like that's less than 2 minutes away from his PB on the leaderboard. A
Nice.
very, very
Why is
respectable
he
run.
checking his comic book?
Look, it's what you got to do. This apparently was an all comics run all along for Nilo. And if you want your all comics run to be verified, you have to double check the comics at the very end, even if
Exactly.
he didn't get any of the comics.
Meanwhile, I'm sure Fetty actually owns every comic you could obtain in this game.
That is a lot of comics, and some of those comics are rare. So I do wonder if that's the case.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I think in the case of like Amazing Fantasy 15, more like a reprint, but I'm sure he's got a lot of those. We should ask him. In the meantime, Monch Finish is about halfway through Monster Rock. Pretty good tech throughout. Not as many zips as some of the other runners, but he's still smooth with what he's doing, which is a
Yes,
key
we're
thing. It's got to find a good even pace with Monster Rock because he rubber bands like crazy. I mean, you saw that moment that almost killed Nilo. That could have been a run under, but he moved fast enough. Had this been
that's
any difficulty other than easy, he would have been toast.
absolutely, which is why I have to wonder if some of our more experienced runners would be willing to race against each other in hard mode.
Mm-hmm. I would
But
love to see that.
those wonderings will have to wait for another time as Monch getting ready to wrap up his run, going into the
Last
last
corner.
turn. And
So
that's
we're
a
a 35-24.
35-24.
How does that compare to his normal run? How does that compare to his PB?
That, if he was playing on emulator, correct?
Yes.
That beats his personal best by a full 7 seconds.
Woo! So
That
new
is
PB for Mon.
that is a new recorded PB for Monch. So congratulations, Monch. That was a really
Everybody,
solid
round of
run.
applause. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's get a few claps in the chat. But
Mm-hmm.
with both of our racers done, if they are willing, let's go ahead and pull them in for a fantastic interview to see how they feel about the race.
Oh yeah. All
Hey
right.
there,
I
Nilo.
see.
Hello.
Congratulations on your win on this race. Looks like Left
Mm-hmm.
Side Gang wins again.
Thanks. Yeah, right.
It that was some
It's the real strat all along. Is be on the left side.
The best strategy.
GG's.
absolutely
Thanks,
Monch.
GG also to
Congratulations on your
you.
run. Now, Monch, can you tell me, was that a PB?
Actually, it wasn't. I was behind by 26 seconds, 27 approx.
Really?
So yeah, but I mean, for
Okay.
for how well it started, it was a pretty good run for the rest of the run. So I'm okay with it,
You
honestly.
look, even with some of that bad luck you had, that was a really solid run. I only made a mention about the PB because it does beat the time that I see on the leaderboard here for
Yeah,
emulator, as
because
far as that's
the
concerned.
thing is, my previous time on my previous race actually beat my PB, but since it had a lot of drop frames, I didn't upload it. So this one does beat my current PB officially, but extra officially it's still behind.
Hey, congratulations either way. That was a really fantastic run from both of you. Truly.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Thanks.
Nilo, great job on getting those flying spiders. May
Well,
if
at
not
least,
if not on scale to girders, perhaps instead on tunnel crawl. I'm glad you finally hit it this time versus last time.
yeah. Last time was unfortunate. I got the zip way too late than usual, so I was in a wrong position. While this time it was like planned, just like the plans. So
Well, you did a fantastic job with that. Monch, was there any part of the race that you were particularly proud of as far as your
Well,
performance was concerned?
Well, I did go 2 splits, which were pipes and Monster Rock, which I was very surprised.
That's great.
Mhm.
Congratulations on that, for sure.
Yeah. But
That's
pipes felt extremely fast, though I didn't get the last swing, so it felt faster than I had done it before. And Monster Rock, honestly, was a surprise for me because I didn't feel I was doing anything particularly speedy. But well,
I think
anything
I think
anything
you had some
works.
very clean movement in Monster Rock. If you take a look back at the recording when this VOD goes up, you'll see you had some very clean movement through that entire level. In fact, there was one point, I believe, on Nilo's side where it got a little dicey there. Bob
Yeah.
got
Yeah,
ahead ever
yeah.
so
There
slightly.
were there were a few points in which I really risked
Panic
to.
moment.
Yeah,
Yeah, Monster Rock can get you like that. It's really work.
right.
Kind of triggers
Also,
the
right at
fear.
the end of the level, so it was
Yeah.
was very risky. So glad that didn't happen.
Well, you both did a fantastic job with this, and I do want to I want to pull away from the race itself here for just a second. Uh, I just want to ask real quick because you two had some very interesting answers for this. Nilo, what is it about Waterfront Warehouse that makes it your favorite level?
I don't know. I like the level casually. I like the in that way. I also like the speedruns routes for no
Mhm.
skips for all comics too. The only thing is that, of course, the skip is can be very brutal, like in my previous run. So while
Mhm.
this time I golded, also the split was very good. I I said that I wanted to get my revenge on Waterfront, and I think that I achieved it. So
You
Yes, you
very
did,
much
and
did.
congrats on that. Monch, I want to throw the same kind of question over to you. What is it about Stop the Bomb in particular that makes it your
Well,
favorite level?
yeah, in my case, well, I also like the level casually, but it's more of a thing that this was the first level I learned the skip for, so it's
mm,
kind of like
Ooh,
ingrained in me.
that's a good point.
I still suck at it, but at least it's the first one I learned. So yeah, I like
Absolutely.
it. I like the level overall.
Mhm.
All right. Well, unless we have any more questions for these two,
Yeah, Spy Ran, have you got any questions for them?
Oh, throw me in the deep end. Hello, I am still here.
Hi.
I guess the question now is, for me, do you have any things that you're particularly going to work on then in prep for your round 3 matches for both of you?
Yeah, me particularly, I'll work on hostage situation until I get it just right, because I
Mhm.
keep messing up the timing with the R1 and the jumps, but I'll work on it.
I need to work on getting more lucky on Scorpion because J. Jonah Jameson again instantly moves away.
Yeah.
well, there's a reason Jameson doesn't like to fight a man. That's for sure.
There's a
Alrighty.
reason also why Scorpion doesn't like J. Jonah Jameson. I start
That's
to
right.
feel.
Scorpion just wants to take a nap, and Jonah just does not want to let it happen. All right. Well, if that's all for our interview today, I think we're ready to move on to our matchups for round 3. With this last matchup, we finally have our full roster for the third round of seeding, which will take place
Yeah.
hopefully between today and the 15th. Uh,
Mhm.
Dates and times to be announced. But if you
Yep.
can see on your screen, we have some wonderful matchups, some exciting matchups, actually. We have
Yeah.
a battle of two titans again with Spyron and Sodalier. Two titans that have been fighting for the top spot of the emulator any percent.
Mhm.
And
That
then
would
next,
be an interesting match to watch for sure.
That is
absolutely,
definitely one not to miss.
absolutely, I would not miss that match. I'd hardly miss any of them, but that is the match not to miss. Next up, we also have Felicia and Fetty going against each other.
Oh,
I'm
you can
excited
miss
to
that
see how
one.
this one.
I'm gonna get the floor wiped with me on that one. So you don't
Well,
need to watch it.
You're on the left side, so you're gonna win. We'll have to see how that
Oh,
goes.
right. I'm on the left side.
And then next up we have Zoe versus Nilo.
Oh no, I'm on the right side again.
Well, you both have been putting in some really great runs recently, so I am excited to see how these two match up as well.
Mhm.
Next up is two of our newest runners in the community. We have Stop Jesse and myself, Chuck Nicey.
Mhm.
I am tentatively excited for this matchup here. I feel like I've been putting in a lot of work with the speedrun, and I know Jesse has as well, and I think that's really going to show in this next lineup if we don't see the same bad luck I experienced in the last race.
Oh, right. This is the fight between the people that have fallen through the subway.
That's right. That's why I mentioned earlier, I think it's going to be fantastic if Jesse and I can synchronize our subway falls. And finally, we have Mr. Monch versus Crypto for their lineup. Now, again, the order of these matchups are not indicative of the time or date that they will start. Rather, they're just placements for this final round of seeding. And once this is wrapped up, we will have our official lineup for the Spider-Man Hey, Wanna Race tournament. And I am excited to see every single one of these runs, every single one of these races. And with that,
So make sure you're following Spider Runs on Twitch so that you can be notified when the races happen, because you don't want to miss any of these. We're gonna have some pretty epic showdowns, which we just already said. I'm being redundant. Just follow Spider Runs. Check us out on speedrun.com so you can check out the bots of everybody's best runs. And I got nothing else. I thought I had a full speech, but I don't.
so get ready for some great races, great commentary, and of course, non-stop web swinging, wall crawling action. Thanks for joining us, everyone, for the Spider
Perfect.
Runs tournament, and we'll
Mhm.
see you next time.